Right. So, as far as our guideware understanding is concerned, when we are working on the guideware applications, mm, especially from the technical point of view, because being into the technical side, being a guideware development side, it's always important for us to perform two different tasks. One is about the configuration side, second about the integration side. So it's not only relating to the developmental side, even the role of a business analyst should have some technical understanding. So when we uh, attend any kind of interviews and all, there are different scenarios that we need to know. So there are multiple scenarios in the previous sessions that was discussed already. So today there is one scenario I have taken wherein the scenario is to the kind of steps and approaches typically involved in any kind of handling batch processes for any kind of bulk data imports or updates. So before getting into that, first of all, let us understand about what is batch processing. Generally, batch processing is a kind of method of executing tasks and as well as groups, typically for any maintenance and as well as data processing. It actually involves running a set of processes based on the demand to perform the task. Followed by this, the batch processes exclusively we use in policy center, uh, which are standard normally, or else we can customize according to our requirement, and we can accept some arguments to customize the behavior, etc. All that stuff. In regard to understanding about the batch processings are concerned, batch processing purposes are multiple because it can we can maintain the task and we can manage high volume operations, execute high volume operations, cost effectiveness, all that, and different types even. In the last couple of sessions when I've taken, I've explained about the types of batch processes, something like standard batch processing, custom batch processing, all that. In regard to understanding about the batch processing, especially a scenario that we have taken, in this process, if you want to manage any kind of bulk data imports or updates in Guideware Policy Center, uh, generally Guideware will provide a flexible integration framework, especially to supports the batch data processing and all. So for that, there are different tools and technologies for bulk data imports and data updates we are using now and then. The first one about the Guideware batch framework, second messaging and integration layers, followed by the application performance layers that we are managing all that. When we are trying to understand about Guideware batch frameworks, which majorly useful for us to create and manage jobs, right? So for importing and as well as updating large data sets. At the same time, this is also something useful for us to provide a schedule or run and as well as monitoring what kind of batch jobs that we have created, etc. Everything can be done using Guideware batch framework. Second, about messaging integration layers. From the messaging integration layers, there are different layers technically we use, like goes to programming as in when you know, for a programming either for integration purpose, configurations and all. When there are any business rules that we have updated to maintain that, generally goes to is something that we use. So messaging and integration layers. At the same time, in APIs can be used or else web services in this SOAP, UDDI, WSDL, all that, and followed by JMS servers, all that. Now, when we are using messaging and as well as integration layers through the messaging systems, where the data that we are using in bulk from external systems using any kind of protocol, something like JMS or web services and all. We can also use Gosu as a programming language for processing large volume of data. At the same time, Guideware data import framework will also be used for importing data also. So when there is any scenario that we have taken. For example, as again I'm repeating you, because as a scenario, assume that how to handle batch processes for any kind of bulk data imports or updates we are using in Policy Center. What kind of tools and technologies that you have used so far? Because either from the technical side, I can say, or techno-functional roles when we have applied, people will expect to have some understanding about the scenario. This is point number one. After that, we need to know about the data import framework, right? So how the data import framework will be used and how this can be. So this part we are going to discuss in the next session.